All glories to Mother Ratasha. All glories to the religion of love. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to our Supreme Lord. O Lord God, please help us live out these teachings, be an example of love in the world. Jai. Okay, we're picking up where we left off in the book of wisdom. And I hope you guys can see it. Hope that didn't disappear. Then she spoke of renunciation, the most feared of all the signs, saying, "Do not worry on what you will give up, lamenting on your loss. Think only of what you will take up, the gift you gain." And she compared the devotee of God to a man in love, saying, "The devotee of God is as a man in love, for when a man is in love, gladly will he give up anything and everything to be with the one he loves." Next was the desire to live in a solitary place, detached from the general mass of people. The purpose of the leaving, he said, is in the returning, for the world has need of inspiration and is longing for love. Go then, take yourself out into a desert, where the stars sit on the edge of the earth, or to a high mountain cave, or a room with a door, to any silent, solitary place that you may meet with God, and be refreshed by love. Go, she said, but only that you might return restored. Then she named steadfast determination in the service of God as a sign of wisdom. And giving me as example, she said, "In steadfast determination has Rajak Khan met every obstacle, and by the grace of God every obstacle has overcome." And I answered her that all might hear, saying, "In the service of God gladly would I give my life." And she stopped me, saying, "Do not give your life in the service of God, but live your life in the service of God. To die for a cause is courageous. To live for a cause is far greater still." And a man marveled, saying, "In this city are many pundits, their beards grown gray, and gray hair we take to be a sign of wisdom." And she interrupted him to say that gray hair was a sign not of wisdom, but only of age. Then he spoke again. "When the pundits, the learned ones, speak to us on the truths of God, their words are so complicated none can understand. It is in the religion of love that we find the truths of God spoken with such simplicity that all can understand." And she, agreeing, counted simplicity as another of the signs of wisdom. "The truth is simple," she said. "It is we who are complicated." And so we came to the last of the signs of wisdom, even-mindedness in pleasant and unpleasant circumstances. One who surrenders to God is even-minded in all circumstances, she said, for he no longer sees good or bad, but only God. He knows not the two of duality, only the one of God. God in all things in God, and God all good. And in conclusion, she said, "Having heard all the signs of wisdom, know that in becoming the devotee of God, these signs will be made manifest automatically. On their own, these signs are only as so many zeros. Many zeros are meaningless until you put a one in front of them, the one being God. Wisdom," she said, "is in knowing that the purpose of life is to become again the devotee, the beloved lover, the servant of God. and in the transcendental service of God, serving all. Then, that all should be clear on this, she told of a man who had died and was transported to another dimension, and so found himself living in a beautiful home. As soon as he arrived, a servant appeared and asked the man if there was anything he desired. The man said he was hungry. And no sooner was this said than a feast of all his favorite foods was set before him. And as he ate, the platters and bowls were constantly replenished, till being fully satiated he could eat no more. Being bored, the man then asked the servant to provide some entertainment, and this too was done. But after a while, the man became bored again, and calling the servant started to ask, and then embarrassed stopped. The servant, understanding, now provided an endless array of the most luscious women, all eager to do whatever the man desired. And he was able to indulge in every fantasy and enjoy with the women over and over and over again. Now as time passed, and he enjoyed all these pleasures again and again and again and again, they began to pall, and he fell into a deep depression. So he called his servant to him and said, "You who have satisfied my every desire, I now desire that you provide me with some meaningful work." At this, the servant said, "Anything else you may desire I can do, but this I cannot." And the man became upset and said, "To live with no purpose is meaningless. I might as well be in hell." At this the servant smiled and said, "And where do you think you are? This is hell." Jai. Okay, let's go back. Oop. Oh, I went too far. Let me make sure everything's still... I heard some beeps. Make sure everything's still working. Okay, still working. Good. Okay, renunciation. The most feared of all the signs. Yeah, this is what most people are afraid of with religion. What I have to give up. Oh no. Have to give up all the things I enjoy, right? This is what we fear. But she says, do not worry on what you will give up, lamenting on your loss. Think only of what you will take up, the gift you gain. Real renunciation is not about giving up, but taking up. And as far as things you give up, or offer, God doesn't want your fruits or dead animals or etc. What he wants is you. And here's a good analogy. Imagine a boy who goes to an orchard to steal an apple. But if your father owns the orchard, you can have all the apples you want. So in choosing God and spiritual life, you gain life abundant, and all the material enjoyment naturally gets included with it. And when I say naturally gets included, all the material stuff, what I mean to say is, it's not that, oh, I can, renounce and choose for God and also have the fast cars, the bling bling, the grossly materialistic life. No. But when you offer everything unto God, or you choose for God, and make him the supreme goal of your life, and offer everything unto him, and see everything as already God's and just using it for his service, Mother Natasha taught us that God will always provide whatever is necessary to serve him. And as we progress upon the path, we give up a lesser taste as we develop a higher taste of love for the spiritual, for love of God. So our desires change, and I'm living proof of this, having been on this path for so many years now, that I can honestly say, my wife can tell you, I want for nothing. I'm very, very satisfied. I have more than what we need. Honestly, I feel very blessed. And all the material things come too. We eat wonderfully. We enjoy beautiful nature. We just want to be of loving service. So the material things do come too. Renunciation, remember, as we get to the end of the book, it says these signs come automatically. So it's not like you have to force yourself to be renounced. No. That's a false renunciation. To give things up you still have desire for, that's not a real renunciation. For someone to take on the renounced order of life, for example, like sannyasi or something, yet they still desire worldliness and worldly things, that's a false renunciation, and you're just a burden to society at that point. So do not worry about what you give up, only what you take up, the gift you gain. And really, we gain so much. When you have God, when you have love, you have everything. Love can substitute for anything, but nothing can substitute for love. And she compares the devotee of God as to a man in love. The devotee of God is as a man in love, for when a man is in love, gladly will he give up anything and everything to be with the one he loves. But just imagine like those great stories, those romance novels, those great movies where someone's trying to reunite with their beloved, for example, and they go through such great odysseys and adventures to be again with them. So it's kind of like that. The devotee of God also is just like a man in love. And no cost is too high for the devotee to be again with the Lord. Like that song, ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough. You know that song, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from being with you. You know that song? It's old Motown. It's like that. There's nothing can stop the devotee to be with his beloved. So renunciation, again, these come automatically. You just take to the path here, chant, remember, these signs, they become manifest. We don't just start renounced, and if we do in the beginning try to falsely renounce things, I'm coming to spiritual life, no more material things, no more material enjoyment, no more this, no more that. No, that's over endeavor, thinking too much in the mind. Someone said to Mother Atasha once, when did you give up material life? And she said, what, am I standing here naked? We have these bodies, we're in the material world, we still got to eat and clothe ourselves, things like that. But what difference is to whom we offer all of our works, to whom we serve. So let me continue on. Now the next was the desire to live in a solitary place, detached from the general mass of people. Right. Another romantic misconception of spiritual life is that you have to be in some secluded place or some high cave in the Himalayas or in some mountain hermitage or something, totally away from everybody to be spiritual. No, you don't have to. But as you progress on the path, you may develop a desire to get away from the general mass of people. And the reason for that is, in being alone, is so that you can concentrate, to give yourself association with God. And another one of the signs, I guess I've been checking off the list. We've been out in the wilderness so much. Yes, it's been wonderful to concentrate away from the cities, away from other people. But not to just go and stay in nature and not return, just be that hermit, no. The devotee of God, in great love, wants to share that love with others, because the devotee is compassionate and sees the great suffering of everyone and wishes others to be free from suffering too. So we do go to our mountain retreat or our desert, or even just a room with a door, as she says, to any solitary, silent place that you may meet with God and be refreshed by love. Go that you might return restored. So that's the reason we get refreshed, or fill up your spiritual battery. So it doesn't hurt to get away from things for a while and focus on your spiritual life, get refreshed, and then you come back, ready for giving more. Then she named steadfast determination in the service of God as a sign of wisdom. All right. The devotee of God must be determined. And God is well pleased with this determination, that discipline to keep with your spiritual practice, keep with your vows, keep working towards your goal, the purpose of life, spiritual realization. God is well pleased with this. And you really got to be determined, laser-like focus to be successful in spiritual life. Because there's so much distraction, there's so many things that are going to pull you this direction, that direction. And especially our own minds and bodily senses, they'll pull us in all which way directions. So you got to be very determined, fixed on your goal. And she cites Rajak, how he's been able to overcome every obstacle that he's faced by the grace of God. And anybody knows Rajak personally, he had many obstacles to overcome, many, especially in all the I camps we've done in Bangladesh and India and whatnot. And he says, gladly would I give my life in the service of God. So he's so determined he would lay down his life for this. And she says, don't give your life, live your life in the service of God. Sorry for the noise in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear that. There's helicopters and it's like a World War II dogfights going on. I don't know. A lot of noise around here in Warrenton, Oregon. Sorry. But to die for a cause is courageous, but to live for a cause is far greater still. Live it. As she says, the world is hungry for inspiration, hungry for love. So just dying capriciously isn't so heroic. Live. That's important. That love with others. Oh, what is that beep I'm hearing? Oh, everything's still working. Okay, thank goodness. Got a new webcam set up with an old GoPro and it's beeping now and then. I just want to make sure it's not disconnecting. Okay, so for determination, we are students, trying to be devotees of God, and it is very rare to come to that highest spiritual platform. To our natural state of being, where we experience the love. So that is our goal, to come to that state of eternality, bliss, and knowledge, and to give the message of God. It's a team effort. All the devotees, we're all in this together, to share and live it and give it, let go and let God. We're all in this together, and the more we help one another and stay determined, we inspire one another, give each other strength. Association's so beneficial. And a man marveled and said, in the city are many pundits, their beards grown gray, and their gray hair we take to be a sign of wisdom. And so practical. I love Mother Tasha. Nope, not wisdom, just age. That's just old. We're just getting old. The whole look, I'm so religious, I'm so spiritual. We met many of religious people, certain traditions. They think if they have the bigger beard, they appear more wise, more holy. No, it's just a beard. It's just hair. Hair is not a sign of wisdom. Neither is the color of that hair. And he says, there are many pundits and learned ones who, when they speak the truths of God, their words are so complicated none can understand. In the religion of love we find the truths of God spoken with such simplicity that all can understand. And she agreeing counted simplicity as another of the signs of wisdom. The truth is simple. It's we who are complicated, right? Socrates, the great Greek philosopher, he used to take great pleasure in going to the marketplace and seeing everything he didn't need. So, simplicity, devotees, have only what we really need, and we have it nicely. Have few things, but have them well. And don't bother with too much stuff. And a devotee's life is very simple. We don't get caught up with the minutiae, all the small things. That's because our mind is fixed on the bigger picture, the ultimate goal, the supreme goal of this life. We don't get caught up in the little things. And so are our practices. I mean, we chant the holy names of God. That is our spiritual practice. And it's so simple that often people don't believe just how powerful it actually is. But it's a very potent practice. It's just so simple. Just chant the holy names. I have some notes here. I'm reading from Mother Atasha's classes that help me out here. She gave a wonderful class on the Lord's Prayer by Jesus. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So if you want to be in heaven, just do the will of God. It is very simple. Just do everything for the pleasure to please God. So simple. Simplicity. And everything God asks of us in the scriptures, anything the spiritual master instructs, is for our benefit. Not for God's, not for the teacher's benefit. It's all for our benefit. So we trust that it's for our good. And if you want to make your world a heaven, make this a heaven on earth, simply just do the will of God. It's very simple. It's, difficult, very difficult. It's not easy, but it is simple. So, simple but not easy. That would be spiritual life and the path made straight. So, try to keep things simple. High thinking, simple living. And so we came to the last of the signs of wisdom, even-mindedness in pleasant and unpleasant circumstances. Being even-minded. One who surrenders to God is even-minded in all circumstances. Right. This would be like not being disturbed by all of the happinesses and distresses that come constantly in life. Being even-minded, tolerating all of those ups and downs, ebbs and flows, and also being even-minded when the senses are desiring this thing or that thing. Just being cool, cool as a cucumber. You see. And she says, for he no longer sees good or bad, but only God. He knows not the two of duality, only the one of God. God in all things in God, and God all good. Important to note that this is referring specifically to a disciple who has been initiated or born again into spiritual life. For upon initiation with this bona fide spiritual master, one's karmic reactions are cleared, and keeping the vows and disciplines, freeing themselves from future sinful and creating more karmic reactions, and by regularly engaging in devotional service, hearing, chanting, remembering, constantly purifying our existence, our heart and mind. All the things that come to a devotee in life are not coming as a reaction to our past actions, which is the normal case in life, but for the surrendered devotee, everything coming to him or her is put before them directly by God. Tests, trials, lessons, etc., to help us come closer to God. So for the devotee, the surrendered disciple, they no longer see things as good or bad. Oh, good things are happening to me or bad things are happening, because devotee knows that by God's grace, everything is being sent unto him, the so-called good or bad. And it's all meant for my benefit. It's all meant to either help me learn, help me purify, teach me, so that I can be in service in any which way the Lord wishes. The devotee prays, O Lord, make me a success or failure as you see fit. Doesn't matter what condition we find ourselves in life, the circumstances that befall us. For the devotee who surrendered unto God, it's all a blessing. Everything. That's why it says he no longer sees the two of duality, only the one of God. God in all things in God, and God all good. And in conclusion, she said, having heard all the signs of wisdom, know that in becoming the devotee of God, these signs will be made manifest automatically. Right? What I said earlier. On their own, these signs are only as so many zeros. Right. So someone can be very simple, okay, or someone can be very tolerant, sure, or even-minded, okay. But as she's saying, on these own, these signs are just as so many zeros. These zeros are meaningless until you put a one in front of them. That one being God. In which case, these signs take on a transcendental quality for the surrendered lover of God. Being, in any one of these, or manifest any one of these signs of wisdom. Like you said, the tolerance, the desire to live in a solitary place, they're meaningless if there's no purpose behind it. Such as this story of this man who dies and goes to this other dimension. And it's a good analogy actually for material life, because we too have been enjoying material pleasures, sense gratification again and again and again and again and again. Lifetime after lifetime, we've been satisfying our senses, feeding our bellies, satisfying our tongues, seeking entertainment, enjoyment, seeking the company of an amorous partner or many partners, seeking to enjoy our body and mind again and again. And the man says, he's just getting bored. He's getting bored of it all. It's just beginning to pall to him. And he falls into a deep depression, right? And so many of us have experienced depression in this life, that nothing brings us joy. What is the point of it all? What is the point? What's the point of life? And we can get quite depressed. And so he asked the servant, can you give me some meaningful work? Give me some purpose? He's like, sorry, I can't do that. And he comes up and said, to live with no purpose is meaningless. I might as well be in hell. I said, where do you think you are? This is hell. What he's saying is, this entire world, everything in this world, ultimately are just the temporary, limited comforts of a grand prison house of birth and death. It is not wisdom to make a prison house more comfortable. Wisdom is in the getting free from the prison. That is true wisdom. And they all get boring. I mean, look at billionaires and millionaires. And there used to be a show called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Dun, 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 dun. They used to show these lavish mansions and the decadent opulence of these rich people, right? And then people watch the shows and think, oh, they're enjoying so much. Oh. But statistics have proven that the wealthiest among us are actually not happy. They may put a show of it, but inside, in their heart, deep down, they're not happy. Because money can't buy you love. That's another song. Can't buy me love. Gosh, I got lots of songs in me today. Motown, Beatles. So love. Love is what we all want. Love is what we're after. It's said also in the Bible, for a man can be counted as, or actually it's religion of love, but all the scriptures are one to me. Oh my gosh. A man can be accounted as much among men, have many great accomplishments and prestige and possessions, but have not love. His life is worthless. But for a man who has nothing and is of account to nobody, but has love in their heart, oh, they have everything. So, okay, I'll stop there. And go towards the... Oh, I'm just going to keep it as it is. I'm not going to... what is it? Switch gears, because I got the new webcam now. So you guys can still see me here. Let me see, I'm still going, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to this. Doing some new things here. Okay, that should work. I think that works. Alright. Yeah. Let's just assume that's working. Sorry. New toys I'm playing with. Just gonna make myself full screen. Okay, that should work. Okay. Does anyone have any questions, perchance? the laptop and the GoPro are making all these noises. Beep beep beep. I'm always thinking like something's disconnecting and not working. Okay, I think everything's working, inshallah. What's that? Oh, someone's typing. Typing in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let me go there. Oh, what's that? He's got to get ready for school. Oh, well, have a nice day at school. Thank you for joining us. It was quite a pleasure, brother. Glad you could join. I know it was so early for you. You take care, brother. You're most welcome. He said thank you for the sesh. Aaron, you're not the only one getting up at 5:30 for class. Hey, hey. You're good? My mind was in so many places just before class. I had a long day of travel, many errands we had to run, and then last minute problems with the setup, and then there was a guy fishing right here, and he didn't mind we set up next to him. we're on a dock, sitting on a dock in the bay. Okay, no questions or comments, anybody? And it can also be any question related to spiritual life or religiosity. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be just related to class. If something on your mind that might be of help. Okay then. Short and sweet. Going once, going twice. Okay. All glories to Mother Ratasha. All glories to the religion of love. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to our Lord Jai. Thank you all for coming. Yay, Melody.
Hey, thanks.
You bet.